Hi, I'm Jennifer Pappas. I'm the Internal Communications Manager for Wireless Vision. And I would say that I am passionate about communications because I love connecting people. I love seeing the light bulb go off. I love driving engagement and passion for people with work where they spend 80% of their day, right, or time, and making sure that they are loving what they do and as informed and engaged as possible. So that really is what I'm passionate about in regard to communication in our company.
Cool, thank you. To set the stage, I'd like to start with Anya and Jen. If you guys could tell us what you guys are doing within your organizations when it relates to internal communications and HR.
So right now, our company is in a very unique place in that we just acquired our largest competitor in the industry. So our largest initiative is making sure that all of our new employees feel the love that is our WV culture. They're engaged, they have what they need, the basics, to make sure that they can get the information and resources that we have to offer. And then from there, we're going to be looking into getting next level with all of the coolness that our company is passionate about delivering to our employees through their employee experience. I think the employees are definitely moving toward a communication cadence that is more reflective of their everyday life. Chat messaging has been absolutely crucial and instrumental in our organization in connecting with our employees. The chat campaigns that Beekeeper has to offer, I'll give you a for instance. We had an all-hands call where we were doing some big company announcements around the acquisition. Everyone needed to be on it. We sent out a chat campaign, 10, 15 minutes before the call, and come to find out we had unknown capacity limitations within our telecom tech that we breached, and our CFO couldn't get on the call. So we are driving more engagement and more connectivity with our employees through Beekeeper in that way than ever before. Another tactic we're employing that is growing in popularity is live streaming. So a lot of our events and what have you that we're hosting, we're live streaming simultaneously and having satellite events across the country. And it's been a really cool way to make employees feel included and engaged and have that camaraderie and that interaction, even if they're not exactly where the event's being hosted. And then lastly, I think the whole premise of snackable content is really where we're going. I was just talking earlier today about a webinar I'm looking forward to attending that is all about how to write emails in a more snackable mobile content delivery kind of way, as opposed to all the attachments and agendas and elaborate emails that the OGs in the communication world are so used to employing. So I think that's really the direction we're going to see taking place over the next few years.
What forms of communication are you guys using right now that you think will be less impactful over time? Jen, we'll start with you.
Intranet. I've seen such a decline in the usage of our intranet. For example, again, some of the execs in our company were in also a phase of just massive expansion and growth. And they wanted a specific page on our intranet to highlight all of our new store openings and grand openings and all the fanfare around it. We invested probably like $6,000 in 3 months in development to this page. We've had 56 hits. So I think that's just a perfect example. In the non-desk workforce, when they're off the clock, they're off the clock. They're not sitting and perusing an intranet the way that a desk workforce is. So I really see that declining, and I'm actually pushing to create more of just like a document library resource as opposed to investing in the building out of an intranet.
As things shift operationally, what do you expect to change with the digitization of the non-desk workforce?
So my organization, we're wireless. We have about 500 T-Mobile locations, so we're a retail sales organization. We're very, very sales driven. And right now, all the reporting, the operations, what have you, are coming over via email in an Excel format. So I think with the digitization, we're going to see a lot more real-time reporting that's going to be feeding into some sort of a digital format that will be accessible on their phones so they can see exactly where they're tracking on their key sales objectives. Also in the wireless industry, it is so fast-paced and changing every single day. New promotions, new product launches, what have you. So all of that information that they're so used to going to their intranet site to pull down and then read through is just going to be delivered to them in real time, and they're going to just be able to stay on top of it in a way that they've never been able to before, which is going to ultimately deliver a better customer experience.
So how do you see digitizing the non-desk workforce? How have you already seen it play into the guest experience, into the customer experience, and how do you see that evolving as we move into the future?
From our perspective in the wireless industry, there's so many technicalities about all of these new devices that are coming out, new features, new phones, speakers, you name it, we sell it all. And there's so much L&D that goes into it. There's also so much reporting and sales entry and changes every single day that are happening. And I think with the digitization, it's going to create so many efficiencies for these employees, exactly like you said. It's going to free time up for them to really dive deep into the products that they're selling, into the training that they need to be doing, and less worried about all of the administrative aspect of opening and closing a store, worrying about CP&I or customer-specific security information that can't blah, blah, blah. They're going to be able to focus on the core of it, what they need to do, and that's delivering the Un-carrier experience, like T-Mobile calls it, to the customers that sets us apart from a lot of the other wireless organizations. So having that extra time and having those efficiencies, I think is all gonna go back and translate to the employee experience on top of and outside of the culture that we're driving. That's then going to create happier employees, more well-informed employees, and ultimately deliver a better customer experience in turn.
To keep this all moving forward, if you took away the constraints of budget and bureaucracy, what are the 3 wishes that you two would have for internal communications?
I really want a podcast. I am really excited about hopefully launching one of those within our organization. I think it's going to be another great driver of that snackable content on a weekly basis. It's something millennials are already doing, which is 99.9% of our workforce. So that's something I'm hoping to launch and quick link to through Beekeeper for people to access easily. I am looking for a reinvestment from our intranet site into some more efficiencies for our workforce, some more technology to create those efficiencies. So I would like to see that happen. And then also just adding to the tools and resources that we need to create a more comprehensive employee experience, and engaging our leadership to see a more holistic view of the employee experience and how that's going to affect our customer experience. So there's so much more that goes into that, from whether it's onboarding to the ongoing training to the employee development. All of that is part of an employee's engagement within the company, and I think that that's going to be crucial on my wish list for them to make sure that we're affecting that bottom line, affecting attrition, affecting engagement, and delivering a great customer experience.
So in the audience, we have a number of internal communications, HR, and culture professionals. What advice would you give to them as they're pulling together their future strategies for their work?
Something I've spoken about earlier today too is so many companies invest so much money in figuring out who their target consumer is and using that as a marketing tactic to make sure they're delivering the right message at the right time in the right way that activates that consumer. Employing that same thought set, so to speak, to your internal comms, really identifying who are our target audience with this message, what activates them, what motivates them, how do they like to receive their information and where, and using that same marketing mindset and how we're approaching and interacting with our employees has really, I think, helped us over the last 16 months drive more engagement, drive more information, and drive more connectivity within our workforce. The reason I love Beekeeper is that it's helped make my job easier in providing a one-stop shop for our employees, not only to be able to connect and interact with one another, but also a way for me to very efficiently be able to communicate and push information to them, both top-down and bottom-up, in a way that they're used to in their everyday life through the chat and timeline stream functionality. So another thing that I learned today that I'm most excited about Beekeeper is they're going to continue to build on the aspect of being a one-stop shop resource for employees and being able to access their HRIS systems, their L&D systems, their clocking in and out, you name it. It's all going to be available through Beekeeper, and having that in the palm of their hand every day through an existing resource they're already using is going to be a huge win and value add for us going forward. Another very cool and unique value add of Beekeeper is that it's created an environment for our employees to be able to share best practices and provide recognition between their peers that we didn't really see coming. So it's been a very organic, homegrown initiative on their own part. For instance, creating best practices video that have the Wireless Vision swag and flair and posting it onto our timeline streams for everybody to be able to view, comment on, ask questions, and interact with from region to region, from coast to coast, just something very cool we didn't really see coming, but people have made it their own, and it's just been a very cool, again, value add that Beekeeper has brought to our organization.